Hello everybody, welcome to Flannery Genealogy Videos. My name is Brian Flannery. Today I want to be talking to you a little bit about the story of how I got interested in genealogy. Growing up here in Greenup County, Kentucky, there was very few Flannerys right here near us. Me and my dad, of course, have lived here on the Hog Branch in Greenup County all of our lives. Most of our lives, but got a cousin, Carlos Flannery, that lived in South Carolina when growing up, and had a cousin, Don Flannery, lived here in Old Town, and also had a great uncle, Vernon Flannery, that lived here, and a distant cousin, John Flannery, that lived. But didn't really ever get it all kind of figured out. I knew we wasn't real close to any of them. Vernon was probably the closest one that we was associated with. We loved each and every one of them. But later we got to know John, which was my Papa Ward Flannery's first cousin. He lived down the holler. And I never really got any stories out of him. John would tell the occasional story, and then Vernon didn't tell a whole lot. That I can remember. Dad never told a lot, and that wasn't their mentality, I guess, to tell big tales. But I had a yearning for that from my maternal grandfather, or Papa, we call him, Walter Campbell. He always told stories and history and stuff like that, and it made you interested. And I guess I wanted to be more interested on my dad's side, the maternal side. So I've always had that yearning for that, but didn't really get any evidence or any furtherance to that for a while. Around 2005 was kind of when it all started, and I'm not too clear on exactly the perfect timeline, but my great uncle / cousin, that's another video in itself, John Wade Flannery, he passed away in 2005, I believe. And then also, my dad had heart surgery and a heart attack in 2005 also. Now, all in this same time, this started, and I always had this yearning, but I guess the very pinpoint start I can tell you is me and my dad was doing a job for Faye McKnight, which was John Wade Flannery's sister. She had a home in Flatwoods, Kentucky, and we took the job of putting vinyl siding on the outside of this little shed, little outbuilding, out away from her house. And Faye would come over there and visit some while we was working and check on us, see how we was doing, etc., etc. Well, so one day we was about done, and it was hot. I mean hot, and we were just melted down, and we went inside to get some water, and we usually just went into the kitchen part because out the back door, but for whatever reason Faye was in the living room, and I went in there to her, and I think I took my shoes off or whatever, but went in there, and it was really nice carpet. Went in there to that living room and sitting there talking to Faye. Of course, Faye was very old at the time. She was in her 90s. I can't tell you exactly what her age was, but she was a very knowledgeable. But she had never really told me a lot. So, or anybody in our side of the family a lot, but so she had this china cabinet there in her living room, and I got to looking at these pictures. I said, boy, them is some neat pictures. Just kind of looked over to my left. I'm visualizing this in my mind as I tell you. And I said, boy, them is some neat pictures. Who is them? Is them some of Emmett, which that was her husband. I said, is that some of Emmett's people? And she looked at me like I had three heads. And she said, honey, you don't know who them people are? I said, no, I don't have any idea. She said, well, that's your great-great-grandpa, and this is your great-great-great-grandpa and grandma. And I mean, it just floored me. I mean, it just like, just snap. I mean, light bulb went on in my head, and this bells was ringing, and I said, "Wow, that's amazing!" And I said, "Boy, I'd like to have some, have a copy of that." I said, "I don't have none of that." She said, "You don't have any of it?" I said, "No, we don't." So she did, and her daughter did, Hazel Marie Libby. I would assume was the one that made the copy. Well, I know she was, because she made a book for me that told the lineage of what she had done. She had done it for her family, and she made it for me also. And boy, I really appreciated that. But so she made that book for me, and of course it was in a photo album, and she took a lot of pains and work with it. And I still have I have parts of it, I should say. I've took parts of it out and scanned and done things, but I still have most of it together that she made, and she gave it to me. Like I say, all in the time that John Wade had passed away, they owned the place where John lived, and they were in the process of selling it. So I also done some work for them that next year, cleaning up the place, hauling junk, and etc. And we had a correspondence there, and so we had that, and I got started interested. So every time I'd get some spare time, that's kind of the way I am now. Every time I get spare time, I work on genealogy or make a video or something along the lines of that. So my dad had the heart surgery and come through it really good, and was able to get out and go. And he was still in recovery stage. He had it in February, but was still in recovery stage in May. And I believe it was in May of that year. I won't say what year now. I can't remember for sure. I think it was 2005, but I don't know. And I don't know the exact timeline of when John passed away. It might have been later than that. But anyway, these factors are what caused me to get interested in this. So Dad, one day, just haphazardly says, "Let's go to Elliott County." And I was like, "What? You want to go?" And he's, "Yeah." So we took off in the old Ford truck, and we drove. He showed me how to get there, and we drove up through there, and it blew my mind. And so we met J.R. Flannery that day. I met J.R. and he was on his way to a funeral. And Dad, we didn't stay long, maybe 5 minutes, 5 minutes or so. And we took and he was leaving, so we backed out. And Dad showed me this place and that place, and of course that it just tickled me to death that I got to know this, because I had no connection really of where any of my family had came from. So it really made me want to go back again. So I did. That was in May of that year, and that fall I went back and started looking around, and I'd go back from time to time when things were slower, go back and drive up there, take the time to drive and look around, look at cemeteries, and I didn't really know much anything. So I found out that JR was most of the time busy farming, but his older brother Jack was more around the house at the time and was more easy accessible. So, and I also found that Jack was kind of like myself, that liked this stuff and knew a lot of history. And boy, I mean, just a wealth of knowledge. And I still consider Jackie Flannery just, he's like a papaw to me now. And I still ask him things, and he's in his mid-80s, and so got to talking to him, and we got to talking and found out different things, and then I would tell him what I've found on different ones, and he would like that. We would correspond. Like I said, I'd go sit and talk with him on a rainy day or a cold day and was grateful to be, and I am grateful still. I still do that from time to time, even not in just genealogy, but even in just life in general, needing advice for something, I go and ask him for something. He's, like I say, he's kind of like a papaw to me yet, and he just took me right in, and I love him to death. But Jack is a wealth of knowledge. And so another time I was there, and if you've ever been to Stark, Kentucky, and probably most of you haven't, but Their Stark is basically a church now, and I'm the pastor of that church. But at that time, in 2007, 8, somewhere in that region, time frame, I met Anita Skaggs, and lo and behold, I met the genealogy guru of Elliott County. She knew, she's I guess you would call her the present day Lucy White of Elliott County, and if you're from Elliott County, you'll know what I mean by that. Anita has a wealth of knowledge on things, and a lot of access to records, and is a very great person, and always willing to help me do genealogy or whatever I need. I'm her pastor now, so it's amazing how God has a plan in things. So I'm there one day, and I knock on the church house door, and I see a car there. So I just kind of knock on. And I wasn't a Christian at the time either, so I was a little bit leery of even doing that. But knocked on that door, and Anita was there cleaning in the church, and lo and behold, I found the genealogy guru of Elliott County, and we had a good friend relationship. Still to this day, and I'm thankful for that. And down through time, I would find more things, and we decided to have a Flannery reunion. And my main goal for that reunion was to gather genealogy, and also for people to get together. But my number one goal was to gather the genealogy of the people that came, and I did most of that. They was very receptive of helping. I met a lot of different people, different cousins through that, and it's been a very amazing. We don't have the Flannery reunion now, with COVID and different things. Kind of just put a hiatus on that. I don't know if we'll ever have another one or not, but we did shut it down. But these people have been in my life journey of doing genealogy, and I'm thankful for them. These people that's helped me through that, and my story can still go on. On the Greenup side, here on the local level, a great lady named Kathleen Virgin Kenny, which is Roy Virgin's sister, which I border their property across the hill here. They live on North Fork, and we live on Hog Branch, but lo and behold, Kathleen was over the genealogy department at the Greenup County Public Library and helped me a whole lot in my earlier stages. She has since retired from doing that, but is a very nice lady, and I count her as a great friend also. But there's people in your life that'll help you if you're willing to be out there, or if they're willing to help you. And thank God that there's been people that's helped me through this journey. Been so many people, and I'm going to have another video here. There's going to be a part 2 to this video telling you a little bit about that, and I'll try to limit to where you don't spend all day watching these videos. But we like for you watching them. We ask you to subscribe to our channel, share it with your friends, like the video, and like I say, share with your friends, and on social media platforms. I am on Facebook here, so you can send me a friend request that way. We're just in the infancy of this, starting this, so please look over my rambling and my tongue tiedness, and I'm trying to just tell you and give you a little bit of information of how my story, and maybe your story, and comment in the comments about how your story was, and how did you get started, what was your interest in it, and we'll reply to these comments as we can, and but be looking for part 2 of this video, and we hope to see you next time, and God bless.